also bring in Nalini into this because Nalini, the messaging that goes out extremely important given the fact that we've seen protests, we've seen resignations, internal dissent that has come about. The whole purpose of this exercise of bringing about these regulations was not really coming about because it was being observed as discriminatory against the general category. Now, with the top court asking such questions and really giving a direction in the way we should be thinking on this matter, will this, in some sense of the word, bring in relief?
So, Isha, especially in issues related to the caste, related to students, related to higher educational institutions, and even the UGC, things are often made very political, which is something that we are also seeing happening in this particular case to a certain extent, which is why it's important that judicial institutions step in and ensure that things and the laws in this country are governed and guided only by what the Constitution says and equality of all citizens and not by any politics, whether it be on the petitioner side or the government side. So keeping that in mind, the Supreme Court during the hearing today has also made it clear and they've told the parties that not to make any political arguments before the bench regarding this entire matter. And this comes amidst various several important observations that have come in by the Supreme Court during the short hearing. It's right that the central government did not have much to say specifically because with regard to these particular UGC guidelines, this was the first hearing and notice has only been issued to them towards the end. So there was not necessary also for the central government to say much. But at the same time, the Supreme Court said enough for both the petitioners and the government to understand what direction the Supreme Court is going to go in while considering this matter. Even though they are going to judge the constitutionality of this, they want to ensure that no victim, irrespective of caste, is left remediless, and at the same time also ensuring the fact that nobody is discriminated against on the grounds of not only their caste but also where they come from, what sex they belong to, or any other provisions or guidelines that may have been mentioned in the 2012 guidelines, which the Supreme Court has continued to stay in force. They were earlier repealed when these 2026 guidelines had come into place, but the Supreme Court has made the 2020 guidelines back into force after this hearing today, where they've said that they should not be left remediless, which is why it's important for the Supreme Court to step in. A few other important observations that have come in, of course, the fact that the Supreme Court has said that these guidelines have the capability of dividing the society, that we should be moving towards a casteless society after 75 years of independence. And most importantly, the Supreme Court has said that it's important for the Supreme Court to step in so that the grave impact that these guidelines can have, that is stopped from happening. So it remains to be seen now what happens on the 19th of March when the central government and the UGC both come up with their responses. Like we stated earlier, it depends whether they're going to defend these guidelines or whether they're going to be open to tweaking it to a certain extent. But all that matters now is what happens on the 19th of March when the hearing happens, and most importantly what the Supreme Court says then, whether these guidelines are allowed to be brought into force or whether the central government will then have to completely change these guidelines and certain provisions regarding it. So, Isha.
Oh yes, absolutely, Nalini.